Welcome to the CFG Gamecast, episode number 47, a weekly podcast created by gamers and streamers alike to discuss the latest gaming topics from the previous week. We stream a new episode on Saturdays and release it on podcast services like Apple and Google Podcasts, Stitcher Radio, and Podbean on Mondays. So show us some love, give us a follow, give us a like, comment on any of the podcast services, or go to our main website, confreaksandgeeks.com, to not miss an episode. I am Mr. CFG Games himself, Davis Green, and with me are my co-host, as always. I got Lex in the second seat. What is going on with you, Lex?
Well, it was a jam-packed week, I tell you. Not for gaming, for me.
Just in general?
Just in general, Dax gave me a scare yesterday, so that was delightful. So my normal Friday of cleaning was basically spent cleaning up after him and following him around and just kind of making sure he was okay. But I also had a girl date, and that was fantastic.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, we got to watch Trolls 2. I also, Ducky works at a store that I frequent and has been sending me pictures of produce and fruit that is now in season, and I've been eating cotton candy grapes this week. They're going out of style. Highly recommend y'all try them.
I don't know what cotton candy grapes are. What is that?
They are green grapes that taste like cotton candy. I kid you not. They're delicious. What? Yes, they're so good. They're in season right now. Also are my other little guys that look like orange, tiny tomatoes / pumpkins, and I can't remember what they're called. But yeah, they're delicious. Cotton candy
tomato
grapes.
Pumpkins.
Try them. I'm trying to remember. Oh god, what are they called?
It sounds like you're going to a mad scientist kind of areas. I have never heard of any of this stuff. What is this?
So it looks like almost like a tomato kind of. It's flat and round, but it's the color of a pumpkin, and it's a fruit, and you can just bite into it, and it's got a weird leafy top that's rock hard, so you kind of have to cut that off or eat around it, but it is delicious. Is it? About like a big tomato size, but they're flatter than a tomato. Oh, it's gonna drive me nuts. Because he sent me a picture yesterday and it was look what's in stock. And I replied, my babies, because they're so good. But they have tannins. And if you get certain ones, the tannins are too intense and you bite into it, all saliva is immediately sucked out of your mouth, which is very weird.
Wow, that is crazy.
They're so good. This week has been an adventure in fruits. And then... yeah, just kind of planning for Monday because it'll be my birthday. I'm gonna be an old ass lady, so.
Happy birthday!
Thanks.
Can't say that you're gonna be an old ass lady when you have to most of the people here on this podcast is way older than you, so don't give me that.
We found out I'm the oldest.
Older, a couple years.
No, I'm technically the oldest. So I just call you grandpa because it's been pretty much confirmed by children.
That's true. That's true. I don't know what it is. Yeah, apparently. Yeah, you are older than me. You are older than me.
Good. Yep. She's older than you?
Not by months. It's the same. We're both 37.
Now we'll just call him the oldest.
No, I'm 36, sir.
It's fine.
You wearing that just... Don't worry, when you hit 37, you're going to start wearing that just for men stuff, just like everybody else.
Hey, that looks great on people. No, it was funny, though, because I brought it up this week, because I kind of got, yelled at for not wanting to celebrate it, so I was like, fine, I'll do it. And I had mentioned on Tuesdays and Thursday stream that it was going to be my birthday Monday, and the response was oh, how old are you turning? 25? And it's just oh, y'all stop. You guys are so sweet.
You're so kind.
No. So yeah, I'm not going to be 25 or 22. If someone said 22, you will lie you. But yeah, I'll be 32 on Monday. So
nice.
Yay.
I mean,
early 30s is good. Early 30s is good.
Baby. Yeah.
Here's the thing, though. Nothing. I didn't get to have the normal I'm turning 30 experience. I was my body had already given up in my 20s. So.
Yeah, I mean your whole your whole story on the background is quite unorthodox than what normal 20-year-olds would have. So
right.
I will say.
Yeah. So
Okay. Yeah, we
that's it.
we can't tie what the crap that you've dealt with. So, but anyways,
No.
we digress. But we do have the 5-star general of the itty bitty Smitty committee. Yeah, I got Smitty in the third seat. What's going on, buddy?
Chilling, my friend. Another good productive week. I went live over on Mishmash TV here Thursday. Did a little Overwatch. That place it's been fantastic. Being a part of that channel and working with those guys, we've gotten to know each other. We did a creator like basically Q&A. There've been multiple of them this week, and then there'll be one next week. But we got to know each other a little more. Got to speak and interact with chat and stuff like that. That's been fantastic. I got to Zoom call with one of my favorite musicians of all time. I totally did that. I absolutely recorded it. And we'll see. I'm gonna hold him to his word because he said, "Hey, hit me up, let me know. I'd love to be on one of your shows." So we're gonna try to get him on one of these podcasts or something. We will create something to get him on a show.
We will bend our backs over just for that to happen.
Absolutely, I think that would be super dope. So that was amazing. And then last night, dude, last night was absolutely bonkers. So much love and support from so many different, like, I don't know how many raids I got, Double Agent Smith, Emerson. I know that I got to go down. I got to say some thank yous for sure. Nooner, it was absolutely bonkers last night. So that was a ton of fun. It was just good. And then here we are today. We've got tonight we're supposed to be doing camping out in the backyard. My daughter's been asking about it, so we're like, all right, we're gonna do it. And then probably, and then obviously tomorrow's and then tomorrow's Mother's Day, so we're gonna get up early, we'll make breakfast. I'm thinking kind of maybe like a day of pamper and leisure. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna work with the little to. Yeah, well, look, listen, I know I need to send my mom, like, I asked for her address and I forgot to actually send anything. So I'm terrible son.
Oh, it's okay. I'm terrible too. I forgot. Oh shit.
Yeah. So by the time this comes out, though, it's too late.
Yeah. You know what's funny? My mom. So every year I give my mom like a Mother's Day bouquet of flowers and stuff. And I also give my sister that too. But this year it was funny because she texts me. Left me a message. She says that hey, if you want to give me something on Mother's Day, please call me. And I'm like, oh no. So what does she want? What does she want me to give her? So she's like, it's like I really appreciate the flowers, but I really like this handbag. So I'm like, that's not how Mother's Day work, Mom. It's like, how much is this handbag? And she's like, oh, this handbag is $1,200. And I'm like, $1,200? Like, no. So no, but we'll see.
Who was it from?
I don't even know.
Louis Vuitton?
I thought it was Louis Vuitton. Then she's like, no, Louis Vuitton bags are $3,000. And I'm just
go to the outlet mall, man.
I'm done. I was like, it's crazy, but it's understandable. You got to pamper your moms. I mean, there's no way you can't do that.
Here's my question. True. I've never pulled this before because my birthday either is on, like, it's 50-50 shot that my birthday falls on Mother's Day because my birthday is May 11th. So I've never pulled it, and every year I've thought it for the last 10 years. Can I tell her that I am her Mother's Day present? Because technically I am.
When you were a kid, you could have done that, but not anymore. When you're a 32-year-old grown ass woman that owns her own house. So yeah.
Don't you call me out like that. Damn it.
You can't do that. Too late. The card's well expired on that. So I'm sorry about that.
Great.
But anyways, let's get down to it. Let's just go straight to the rigmarole. So each of us picks a new topic of discussion within video games from the previous week. The topic would or could be about a specific game or something that happened within the gaming industry. And we don't want to talk about it amongst ourselves. We want you, the viewers of Twitch, while we record this, to be a part of the conversation. So we have our online moderator. We got Faye. What's going on, Faye? Hello, and she will definitely keep an eye out on the chat. So if there's something interesting, she'll definitely let us know, and we'll add your conversation to a part of the to the topic. So let's get down to it. always watching. It's like see that
Always.
just like heavy breathing, and then you'll be like, "We got something from Pandemonium," something like that. So
Heavy
yeah,
breathing and some like mechanical keyboard clacks. Just
yeah,
like,
it's like I'm so excited. Yeah, but anyways, let's go. Let's get down to it. We got it's gonna be my topic. So earlier this week, Xbox actually kind of was a little bit more open on what was going to be released or what's being planned to be released on the Xbox Series X later this fall. So they showed a series of different kinds of games that were coming out on it. So now so like they I believe it was like an hour long event that they had online, and they were showing previews and in-game graphics of the games that they were announcing. So some of them were like this really cool game called Bright Memory Infinite, which really looks good, and it was only made by one person. So like all that
That's
stuff looked
nuts.
yeah, it's nuts. So it's like a cool like action game. Then they showed like something like a racing game by Codemasters called Dirt. It's a series of like off road games. So this is Dirt 5. There was this really weird like what's called Aliens. Who's the creator, the designer of the Aliens movies? H.R. Geiger
yeah.
looking kind of
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
Geiger, yeah. Yeah,
Ooh.
this game called Scorn that looks really weird and stuff. But then, and some also like some some random ones like Vampire Masquerade Bloodlines 2 was announced and stuff. So yeah, and then they were showing some really cool. Yeah, I forget. I always forget that actually has a good like
A
the
huge,
following of that series. It's
yeah.
very big. Yeah, I always forget that. I've never tried any of them. I really should.
I haven't either.
So
Yeah.
yeah, because remember even Flex was like that too, because like she was like
Yep.
really hyped about the new
Yeah,
one that came out.
Flex loves Vampire Masquerade.
And I think
Yeah,
wasn't it?
yeah,
It was
so
it was a role playing game beforehand, right?
Yeah.
Or, like that's how
yeah,
it
Oh, yeah,
originated.
it was. I
Yeah.
used to LARP with that. Shh, don't
yeah.
tell nobody. It's a
It's
secret
still
though.
kind of yeah,
LARP.
it's still kind of the same kind of thing. So like yeah, so now the one thing that kind of that kind of veered strongly, it's kind of like what was my expectations of this. I wasn't expect I didn't I came in with it with low expectations. I came out of it with the same level of expectations. There was nothing that was like, wow, I can't believe this game is coming out on the next gen system. But the biggest thing was like the games still feel very like like the next level of graphics which people were kind of were anticipating isn't there, and that is perfectly fine because like I wasn't expecting the graphic push was going to be on this gen, because I feel like we kind of have a weird, I won't say a ceiling, but it's not going to be a big advancement than what we saw between like the 2 to the 3 and the 3 to the
Right.
4, and even really 3 to 4 really wasn't that big either. But like I did get one like some things, like some of the games though didn't really feel like something that I would be like, wow, this is something that I should that I really want to must is a must get for the next gen. The only one that kind of really looked pretty cool was this new Namco Bandai game that was coming out. I believe it was called Scarlet Nexus. That's what it's called. Scarlet Nexus looks like it's going to be it's going to be a big one. It looks like it's going to be a nice enough game to do it. But for the most part, like I said, I wasn't expecting any kind of craziness on the levels of that, because also the big one is that it's also a first year, so I'm gonna give it benefits of the doubt for it. And then there's going to be an announcement of like first party console first party developers are going to show off their games, I believe in July, to show off what's to come. So
Ooh.
I don't know. Have any of y'all check out that conference?
No.
I meant to, and I completely spaced it. I had work stuff that I was doing and whatnot, so I didn't get a chance to check it out really. I mean, just from what I'm seeing, number one, I'm happy that we're actually getting to see something from this next, these next consoles that are going to be coming out. So it's nice to actually see something and like, all right, man, I got a little something to be. I like the art on this is really nice. I like how
That is
it's kind of it's got
beautiful.
some realism, but like also very, the characters are cartoon. You know what I mean? But like it doesn't like, but it's a nice style of it. And like, look at this. This looks great. I'm
Mhm.
not gonna lie, and like I mean the things that I've seen so far, that looks pretty solid. Again, I'm not an Xbox person, but but it's nice to be able to actually physically see something, and the fact that they held this conference and we're finally starting to get a taste of what some of these next gen games are gonna look like. I think you're right.
Keep in
Graphic.
mind, yeah, but keep in mind though, all the games that were announced like this time around, these are games that are going to be multi-console. They're just
Right,
showing these off
exactly.
for it. So I'm not really So, but I'm sorry, I cut you off. What were you saying about graphics?
Oh, now you want to know? No, I was gonna say, yeah, graphically, it's not gonna be there, you know what I mean, out the gate. And Lucentai said something that I think he's spot on about here in chat, that they're getting this weird little the consoles, like general, like their first titles coming out are in this like awkward cross gen middle ground. And I feel like that's been an issue, and I felt that, going from PS3 to PS4, where it's like, well, I'm not gonna go and re-buy this title, and there's not any major difference as far as it. It's like I already played it on PS3. I don't need it for PS4. So yeah, I think the graphics and stuff like that, especially with the introduction of ray tracing, I think we're gonna see more. I'm excited to see that stuff in games that are like developed. You know what I mean? Because we got a little taste looking at that Minecraft with ray tracing, and like that was a completely different game to me than your typical Minecraft. And for me, that's huge. You know what I mean? Like that made me want to play Minecraft because it looked dope.
Do we have like? Did they say that they were going to be doing ray tracing and being able to have those kind of capabilities on the next gen console? I was. I know they were doing stuff free basically a frameless no frame caps. I know that there was one thing that Xbox was trying to was definitely doing, and the big one was smart gaming or whatever, the one that says, so if you bought the game on the Xbox One, then you notice it comes out on the you got the Series X, it's going to automatically convert, or you can get that copy of the best version to play your game for free, and stuff. So I mean, things like that was like that. But I mean, if they do ray tracing on top of it for a console system, like it's just that. I mean, I just feel like that system is going to be like, wow. I mean, would be pretty pricey. Well, not pricey, but would be incredible.
It would be
I mean,
incredible. And again, that
nice
could be
thing.
something that's just maybe down the road. You know what I mean? But I wouldn't be surprised to see if they try to do that with something. And I think it'd be, I'd love to see. I mean, again, it doesn't even matter if it's on a console, because I feel like, I just want more people to start exploring with ray tracing, because I mean, it makes things look ridiculously real. And you know what I mean? Like, you want to use that buzzword immersive. That stuff to me is quite immersive.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I totally agree with you there. I mean, it's just like I guess the one thing I will say that the only thing I'm really looking for really on next gen, it's like after I saw this stuff, it's like, okay, well then it's all that I was like, I'm not really big. I mean, graphics is important, but it's not like 100%. It's not the big thing that makes the game. It's really like, the quality of the gameplay and everything and all that stuff that kind of goes into it. But like, I will say that the thing that I'm really more looking forward to for the next gen is the stuff that's happening behind the scenes, which is like, SSD. The big thing was SSD, how fast it's going to be, like with loading times and stuff like that, and these interesting features that allows you to have like that quick that nice streamless delay of playing continuity. So that's one of the things I'm really looking forward to. And then but like I said, most of these games looked like, I mean, like I think the one that looked probably the crudest out of the list of games that they were showing was Vampire Bloodlines 2. Like if you see the video of that, it looks like it's a game that came like that was out on the 360. Like it was almost it like it doesn't even look like I think maybe it's just an early build, but it didn't even really feel like it's something that you would be wanting to say, oh, I'm going to get an Xbox, a Series X for this, or a PS4 for this. So
I think that's just more about what that community, and that community is already there. So anything, you know what I mean, I guess graphically is going to suffice for them. The fact that they're just getting a new story, a new adventure within this next gen, I think is the big sell. as far as with that. I can
Mm.
see because I think anyone that just because clearly people enjoy this game, this series, this whole universe. So the people are already going to be built in. So that stuff is as long as they deliver with a solid story and stuff like that, I think the fans of the series will appreciate it.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Definitely. I mean, what about you, Lex? Do you think you have anything to say on this?
I mean, I kind of feel like you guys covered anything that I was thinking, but also, so all of these titles are going to be on computer as well.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Well,
it doesn't sell me on it though. Like, here's my thing. Like, I feel like if you're trying to sell me on a product, aren't you going to show me things that can only be on that device? And I know that Xbox doesn't do that, but I don't feel like it's necessary. They all look really cool. The game with the flower and like it looked like a flower vase with
Yeah.
legs, but it also
mm,
looked like it had a corset, and the way that it moved was very female like, and it just that caught me. No idea what it is, but it looks fantastic. I would play that.
oh yeah, that's
Also,
Scarlet
Was that
Nexus. That's
Scarlet?
the yeah,
that
that
looked
was Scarlet Nexus.
really cool.
Mm.
You know, I didn't even know about Vampire Masquerade had a freaking game. So that's news to me. I used to play with a book, so I'm also very old. You're welcome. But I think they're not selling me on it. And graphics can be better and better and better and improved. But I mean, for someone like me who doesn't really rely on the graphics because of my light sensitivity, like I have to turn most of that down anyways. And so
Mm.
yeah, that's cool. And I understand that I'm like in that 2%. Like, this just looks amazing. This looks
Yeah,
fantastic. This
well, I mean,
looks
like
like
you totally kind of said something there though, because like I think the big thing is that the really turn off point of me, like even if I was interested in an Xbox, I wouldn't get it because there's no point. I
right.
have a
You
good
can
I have a good PC
exactly.
to do all of that. So I guess the biggest reason is like they and technically to their fairness, they only showcased the third party support. They didn't show their first party stuff yet, quite yet. So
Right.
until they kind of show us everything in July, then it'll be like, okay, I'm really looking forward to seeing what Xbox has in
Mhm.
stock to compete with Sony. Because like in Sony's case, you know that Sony, like I mean, even though Sony just recently announced that they're going to be bringing in some of their games on PC, from the most part, you still want to get a Sony console because their first party strength is so strong that you don't want to miss out on it. And
Right.
it's like, and it's funny when someone like, because I have friends that don't have that don't have PS5s,
Yeah.
and but like they're or PS4s, I'm sorry, and but they've said, oh man, I can't, like I really want to play God of War, or I really wanted to try playing the Spider-Man. There's so many lists of
Right.
games that are on the PS4 alone that you could be like, that you can legitimately
It
be missing out.
justifies it.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
justifies for
Well,
you to do it, but you don't have that strength anymore for the Xbox.
here's my only thought, and like being a kid who didn't grow up with a ton of money, and I was
Mm.
quite all right with that. Like I don't feel like I missed out on anything really.
Mhm.
It was others who tried to make me feel like I was missing out on something, if that makes sense. Um, you know, if I were in that position still as a kid and I don't have a PC that can run the games that I want to play, then
Mhm.
maybe the Xbox would be something that I would look into asking, like kind of putting all of like my birthday and Christmas and like telling my family like, you don't have to give me anything for my birthday if I can get this big thing for Christmas or vice versa, right? Because I used to do that as a kid and I didn't mind. But with that said, why would I go for Xbox if all the games are just going to be on the PlayStation 5?
Well, I
And
mean,
then I have the option of getting the games that are just going to be for the PlayStation. Do you know what I
Why
mean?
why
yeah,
get an
no, I
Xbox when
totally
I could just play it on PC? They're
Well,
available on
what I'm
PC.
yeah,
saying as a
Yeah,
child, I
and
didn't
Game
have the
Pass and stuff.
money for the PC, and
yeah.
I
Oh
definitely,
yeah.
you know what I mean. So, like putting myself back in like little kid shoes, I can understand why the console. But now that I am mostly PC master race, and I also have
Mm.
arthritis, it's just it doesn't really make sense for me to play console anymore.
Well,
It looks really cool.
situationally, I mean, yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, if the situation is that if you're like if it's better for you to get the console rather than getting a PC, then that's understandable. But like, even though, let's say like the Xbox's first party support has always been weak. It always has been. Like, I mean, like they've had the biggest pushes on their first party has been Halo, Forza, Gears of War, and I mean, what else? I mean,
That's it.
like seriously,
That's
like
There you
what
go.
else?
Halo for me. That was the only thing.
And they're running at 20 years. I mean, they're literally running up at 20 years on the system they've been selling the system for. So
Yeah.
that's they're not in a good spot when it comes to this. When you look at even Nintendo's down ages with on the Wii U, I mean, Nintendo still has an incredible strength on their first party support. Like
Yeah.
Animal Crossing is just now hit the total of 13 million units. And it just came
That's
out
crazy.
2 months ago. And then like
Yeah.
even in then 6 months prior to that, Pokemon Go Sword and Silver is at 16 million. Like their least successful stuff is still millions sold on that, which is very impressive. So like I just think that like that's the one thing that if you're wanting to look at anything for the next gen for Microsoft, is their strength in first party support on their things. They're doing the right thing when they bought out all these different kinds of companies. Like, now they have 15 first party companies that's going to be making games specifically for Microsoft. Yeah, so I would definitely think that's the one thing I think most people should definitely look at more than anything.
Yeah.
So yeah, so yeah, so that's where I'm at.
No, I feel you. Hey,
Yeah,
I was a
cool.
Halo fan with Sentai. I was a huge
Yeah.
Halo fan.
Never played a Halo, and it's terrible because I love
Old school
Destiny.
Halo.
I
Old
know.
school
I have
Halo
the
was
series.
great.
We
I
wait
Yeah.
haven't even started
party,
it yet.
man.
I don't know.
We
I don't know what I'm
wait
waiting for because I know
party
if
every
well,
weekend.
here's the thing though too. Like I haven't finished Gears of War either, and I kind of I went from I beat the first one, but then I didn't have access to 2 or 3. But I have 4 and 5.
Mm.
So I was I kind of want to do 2 and 3, but they're like, oh, you can just catch up, just head over to 4. So I started 4 up, but again, I haven't had the motivation to go and finish it up. I guess
because 4 was like the beginning of a brand new generation. So you only played the first one of the old generation.
Yep, basically.
Yeah, I can understand. Yeah, so I mean, it's I liked the old school Halo was fun to me. I mean, 1, 2, 3. I think I stopped at Reach, I believe, but I think the storytelling on Halo was great at the early ages, but now it's just kind of it's just there. So we'll see. All right, well that's cool. That was a good conversation. So the next up, we got Lex coming in on the second seat. What are you bringing to the table?
Well, y'all, I have some bad news. So if you are into Overwatch League, the troubles continue. One of their top team just dropped an entire roster of players. Heading into 2020, Overwatch League's Vancouver Titans were heavily favorited to average out their 2019 Grand Finals loss, but that now seems very unlikely as they are no longer on the roster. So the issue started obviously when COVID happened. And the team for Vancouver, the players were relocated back to South Korea, where they were originally from. But then that caused a lot of problems because there's time issues. They're on different, obviously, time zones. So the esports director for the Titans said that the shift created a number of issues that the club wasn't able to work through. So I will read what his statement was for you guys. Our initial plan was for the team to join the Asian division and continue to play the new schedule from the comfort of the players' homes. Now, keep in mind that schedule was still on Vancouver time. But it was quickly apparent that this created a whole new set of challenges. The time difference made it difficult for management and the home fan base to connect with the team, and technical challenges for the players playing from home further exacerbated the situation. With the organization unable to meet the players' expectations in Korea, and after much deliberation and conversation with the players, the difficult decision was made to move the team back to North America Division. And both the players and management agreed that finding a new home for said players would be in everyone's best interest. So while the move is significant, there were signs of issues leading up to it. Last week, the team let go of both its head coach. I'm not going to try to pronounce his name. Bless you. And top player Hyun Woo. Hyun Woo Choi with no explanation. The team also had a middling record of 2v2, a far cry from their home domination of 25-3 season in 2019.
Jeez.
Yeah, so the move also means that currently the Titans don't have a roster to compete with. Despite being scheduled to play 2 matches this weekend, the club plans to sign the roster of Team Second Wind, which competes in the second tier of Overwatch contenders circuit. So hopefully, we look forward to announcing our new roster of Titans in the coming days, is what Holloway said in a statement. So they were like big contenders to win and take it all this season, and now they don't even have a roster. And it's so sad because I'm sure those players, with everything going on, like, of course you want to be home. Of course you want to be with your families. But then you also still have this essentially a job that you're doing with gaming, and you can't do it from where you're seated. And
Okay, so I'm not seeing the pro. Okay, so I'm trying to understand the problem because I'm not really familiar with Overwatch League fully. So the problem was that the team initially is supposed to be in Vancouver, but I'm assuming the players are from South Korea. Is that why they moved their players? Oh, that's why they moved to South Korea, or
So, what I'm understanding is these players are from South Korea originally, but were living in Vancouver so they could compete.
okay.
So, yes, they were recruited from another country to represent Vancouver for the Titans. They were living in Vancouver once COVID happened, and they could see that restrictions for travel bans were about to go into place. The management said, "Why don't you guys all go home to your families?" Right? So they did. And under the premise that they were still going to compete, which that in of itself is a
That's
whole
like a
thing.
weird move for them to do that.
Yeah. Because here's the thing, can you compete from home and still have like anti-cheat? Like, that's a whole weird thing for me that they
Yeah.
thought that was possible. But then also, like, why didn't they take into consideration that their fan base was on a completely different time schedule than them? Not only that, but their management team was still in Vancouver. So, your management team would have to either switch and be on South Korea's time zone or vice versa. And so the whole thing was just very like, why did y'all do that?
They're like half a day ahead of us. That's what is
Yeah,
crazy. So
right.
man, okay. So like, I kind of feel like it's kind of weird how all that went down. So it seems like it could have possibly been avoided if they didn't move over, tell people to go to South Korea, go back
Yeah.
home to South Korea. I
The-
guess you're in a predicament where it didn't matter what you're going to do. I think it was going to be bad publicity because you can't tell your
Absolutely.
players. Yeah, you can tell your players like, oh wait,
You can't go home.
you can't go home. You're gonna have to play game. You have to play Overwatch over here in Canada,
Right.
because that's gonna make you look like that's gonna make you the villain on that. And then two, like I don't know I'm assuming they're there for some sort of special kind of work visas of some sort or any kind of access towards that.
Yes.
Because the way it sounded like they were expecting to be fine and it should have all been good, but then now it's like I don't understand how they were surprised about like the things like time zone. Time zone is something that has never changed compared to
Right.
US and South Korea. So
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm not really familiar with any of this. I mean, yeah.
Well,
Here's my thoughts. And no, go ahead, Smitty. I'll let you go first.
sorry. So I've been following along with some of this stuff too. We actually on LAN parties we spoke with Curry Shot. At the time, he's a coach for the LA Gladiators, and at the time he was in South Korea. He said that they had to swiftly pack up. They got sent back home and whatnot. So I mean, this sounds like people were not prepared again to be able to move forward with a digital strategy, and they had not planned for it. And they didn't know how to, because it was the right thing, send them home, you know what I mean? You can do that stuff remotely, but then it sounds like they were having issues being able to get, get technical things done and whatnot, because you're basically taking different sources from all around the world, you know what I mean, and then feeding them into, and I'm not 100% sure how they did that, because they did they were competing remotely and whatnot, so, they have the equipment to be able to take that many sources and produce something like that. But that just sounds kind of weird to me because, like, I mean, the time zone thing, you didn't know about time zones? What? Like,
Like 12
what is
hours
that?
ahead. I mean, it's like it's a pretty big one. I mean, I guess the only way I could think of it to have been successful if they specifically did it regionally, did regional tournaments of the same kind of Overwatch league. So like obviously you wouldn't want South America to fight American online because the bandwidth would be so bad when it's a 6v6 and stuff. So I would think that you would want to kind of make little micro micro
Adjustments.
groups or something like that to
Yeah.
do it. Because now it just seems like
I think it was like part of the thing. Like they wanted like these teams to represent huge proportions of people across the whole planet to like hype it up more. And
yeah,
now that
see, I
we're
don't
running into a
know.
problem like this, it's kind of falling apart. And
Well,
Dude,
like
Yeah,
and
I mean,
we
you could have the
Kith
best.
mentioned earlier, he said that's why the Chicago Bears don't hire players that live out of state.
absolutely. But we talked about this too, because earlier on we were like, look, man, they're doing so much traveling. This is a global thing. Player fatigue is a real thing, dude. You're bouncing around all over the world for this. I was like, that's not feasible, dude. It's not manageable for the players, for the people that are involved. It's like, for them to be successful, they need to come up with a better way to manage that. If they are going to be a globally like that, there's a better way to do that where they're not because they're pushing people to the max as far as doing that, and that's too big. You need to section it off
Way too
some
much.
way. Yeah, exactly.
well, and here's maybe I don't know, a silly thought. Why is Vancouver recruiting from another country? Why are they
Because everyone
recruiting
does.
Yeah.
within?
No,
I
because everyone does.
understand that, but then it doesn't, like Smitty just said, now we're in an issue where it doesn't make sense anymore, right?
We're
So
we're, we're in
like
an
why are we not
unforeseen issue that
finding the best
yeah,
of
but
the
we're
best in your own country?
But that's not
but
how
it's not
sports work, though.
but that's not how sports have ever worked. I mean, even like let's
Yeah.
say even like what Kits was saying, like the Chicago Bears go get everyone in state. That's not true. I mean, most of these people are either from somewhere within the 50 states that come
They
to those
probably like
locations
moved
and
to
stuff. Yeah,
like
But
like
again,
Right.
do
yeah, that's their,
you
and
remember the
it's
word?
all a job, though. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
that's the
oh
way I see
god,
it. It's like, that is your job. Your job is to do that. You know what I mean? Like, and I understand. Again, this sounds I feel like it's almost like a management issue, and on the technical side where there were just these steps, and I think it's such a weak excuse to say time
yeah.
zones. Did you
Right.
not? You know, that's always existed. That is something that should have been a part of the plan. That shows
Mhm.
you right there that they are
You
not
didn't plan it.
versatile enough to be able to
No.
shift and morph as the situation progress, man. That's on them.
Mhm.
I don't understand why the team dissolved, though. I guess it's
Yeah,
where I'm.
that's where I'm seeing.
I
Yeah,
feel like
that's
there's
how I think
something
my break
else.
is with that because like I feel like you're telling me like because I mean usually with how squad teams work is like especially like when you have there's tier levels in their squads. So you would like I mean I guess is there a rule that you can't move people up in the middle of a certain season or something or like I don't know the Overwatch rules, but like I
Hey,
you're telling me that there was no backup replacements towards this thing that said you had to basically said this, we just basically had to scrap everyone on that team. Now everyone's a free agent. I would love to see how all the system works within these kind of esports because I've never understood it. Because like
Well,
like you remember the worst Overwatch team that came out when the Overwatch League first started was like
they lost every game, right?
Was it Chinese I
I,
forgot who it was.
I
I think
can't
it was
remember
Chinese
the
something.
name.
no.
It was
Yeah.
bad.
Then ironically enough though they weren't like they were not they were other people from different countries that were representing that team and stuff and then finally when they then they finally won their first one I think a season later or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean I don't know like it's just like I don't know how any of this works which drives me which is very I just find it very interesting but like yeah it seems like it's a pretty crazy move to just say okay we're gonna shut everything down shutting everything down for this season for it you know.
Well, and let me make it clear. Like, I'm not saying that recruiting from other cities, states, another country
Mhm,
for like maybe one or two players is like
mhm,
off the limits. But I mean, maybe it should kind of in management's head. Like, you have good players. I mean, great players don't just come from one vicinity. Do you know what I
mhm.
mean? And it's all about creating a really good cohesive team. Like, that's how Overwatch works. You could have a great tank and a great DPS, but if everyone else sucks, like they can't carry the whole team, especially for a whole season. It just doesn't work that way. But maybe this will kind of change the dynamics because, like Smitty said, like player fatigue is real. Were these people going back to South Korea every weekend or during the week? No. A lot of the times they were having to train and do all that. And yes, you can do that remotely, but only so much. You know what I mean? And so, I think it was management dropping the ball on this because time zones really. But
Well, even
I mean, what
I
are we
mean,
gonna
but
do?
even but like even the fact that like they decided, like I mean, like they decided what they decided on. It's just yeah, it just seems very interesting.
Very
Yeah,
sus.
I think Indus has a good point on that though, because he says the current issue is due to the lack of restrictions when the league was originally created, before they had different regional divisions. And I think that's the biggest problem. I
Absolutely.
think that's probably what I'm where I'm not where it would make more sense. Like if they were more specific on why or how that's even possible to just say we don't have a team anymore. Like it's very interesting that that they can do something like
Yeah.
that.
That's that's
Even
wait,
the crappy, yeah.
but wait,
Okay.
here's an analogy. That's like us going to the Summer Olympics, right? And our whole track team gets out there and they're
Uh-huh.
all Russian. You know what I mean? Like to me, that's what this. It's like I
Well,
just
that's how it is. That's how the
Well, I
sport
think
is. Like
that,
they
well,
get all
and
these other
I kind
people
of feel like
involved.
that's the difference between like Call of Duty's league and
Mhm.
Overwatch League. Call of Duty, that yeah, this like Overwatch League does seem more like it's like and that's a great analogy that you use too.
Yeah.
Is
because they are American citizens that are out
Yeah,
there. They
exactly. You
have to
Yeah.
almost think
be.
of it as like
That's
a,
part
oh
of the
yeah, they're
Olympics,
representing that place or whatever.
right?
Whereas they're using it more as like a team thing, which I feel like Call of Duty's one. Like you have, whatever they have, those teams. Like however they choose to recruit, that doesn't, it's like all right, yeah, that's a team. They're building out like it's the NBA or something like that. Whereas
Mhm.
Overwatch League felt more like a, hey, this is your team from your home place. And it's like, wait a second, that dude clearly ain't from here. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I'm just
No,
saying.
absolutely. And I agree with
Yeah.
you. There's nothing wrong with that. Like, great, you're a fantastic player, and I think that's great. However, you don't represent my town or my city. You know what I mean? And it's just
Yeah.
kind of, to me, when I originally heard that Overwatch League was going to be recruiting, in my mind 5 years ago, I was like, I'm really good at PlayStation. I just need a PC and I can prove myself. Yeah, right. Anyways, but I digress. You know what I mean? But like in my head, I was like, well, if Vegas comes out with a team, they're going to get the best of the best from Vegas or the surrounding area. That's not how these teams started out. And
The
I think
globe.
now they have to start implementing a little bit more rules and restrictions for recruitment. I think maybe is what this will lead to in the future. But
Mhm.
it seems like management honestly dropped the ball. And I think some of the players were just like, I'm over this. I'm done.
Yeah.
And we're like, I'm gonna take a step back. Maybe they have better options when they got home. Who knows? But yeah, they just lost two really major players. So
Mm.
I
Yeah.
was like,
Well,
we
you
need to
saw
work
that
around
the top player from Shock from San Francisco Shock says he's done with Overwatch and is moving to Valorant. And Valorant's not even out yet. Like that is a
Valorant probably won't be
ballsy
out for like a
move.
couple of years. Yeah, Valorant
which
probably won't be out for a couple of years for how this is looking like. Which, speaking of Valorant,
right.
Smitty,
Let's move on.
You like that
yeah,
segue? You
Oh,
like
I
that
love this
segue?
perfect
topic. Go
segue.
for it.
Let's
Great,
talk
Go
about
great
for it.
Valorant.
segue.
Let's
Tell
talk
us.
about
Yes,
Valorant. We
Smitty
warned
just
you
love kicking
guys.
it. Yeah, he just loves kicking dead horses like down. Like just keep on kicking it. Just keep
Yeah,
on kicking it,
no.
Smitty.
Kick that
So
horse.
obviously, and we talked about this too being a possibility when we talked about Valorant's anti-cheat, how it gives you basically it's sitting there, it's a front door access. It's on administrative level on your hard drive. It runs all the time, whether you're playing the game or not. They recently had to release an update. It had something to do with the window tray being down in your tray, and then somehow what had happened is that the anti-cheat Vanguard started to I'm going to read directly from it. It blocked users from viewing my CPU clocks and temperatures. Some Reddit
Mhm.
users have had USB ports blocked, keyboards bricked. and comes after Riot. It came after Riot's Vanguard icon in the Windows system tray. So something within that update, but this is exactly what we were talking about as far as it having this level of being able to control your PC and what it does. It has the ability to clearly brick your stuff, block your things, and on any kind of level, and it'll do it without notifying you as well. Remember, it doesn't matter if you're playing the game or not. If it's on your computer, if it's installed on your computer, it has that maximum level. Personally, I highly suggest taking it off of your computer. But let me read a little more of this real quick.
Oh, please.
Well, at least until they fix it, you know. I mean,
at least until they fix it.
Yeah,
and like this just isn't working. Vanguard is blocking users from viewing their CPU clocks and temperatures. They can't access their files even while outside of the game, and suspects that Vanguard is used for data mining is what one Reddit user had said. That so that's not any kind of verified thing. That is obviously speculation as far as the data mining thing. But them not being able to access their files outside the program, like it's really weird, man. And like this is what we were saying. Like here's the deal. They're still getting cheaters. There are still people hacking into this game and cheating. So it is accomplishing nothing at maximum level of your privacy on your computer. I'm surprised more people aren't talking about this. Game's fun and what. I'm not even gonna lie either. I totally bought one share in Tencent. And I kind of felt dirty doing it, but I did it.
How much was that?
It was like 50 something bucks.
Okay, that's not bad though.
Look, and it's only gone up.
It's gonna be a good investment. I warned y'all. I told you this was an open door. This is not a back door. This is an open door. Anyone who knows even just a little bit of the basics can figure it out. I warned y'all. That's all I'm gonna say. Beep beep. I got the keys to the Jeep. I told y'all.
You said that you said that they did a patch. Like, was it supposed to repair the initial issue, which was, or were they even planning on wanting to repair what was originally exposed, or was it supposed to be a hotfix of something that they found something?
This was a patch so that there was an icon in your tray, in your system tray that you could pull up and you can see that it's running, and then it says, I think from there you have the ability to disable it or whatever they did within that patch. Actually, it made it worse, and now it's going around killing people's ports and PCs. Breaking PCs essentially. So there's going to be another hot patch to fix that.
And those of y'all that are telling, when I warned y'all, because I still see some of my friends playing it, and I'm like, hey, just a heads up, their response was, I don't have anything that important on my PC. It's just for streaming.
That's so ridiculous. It's like,
what's gonna be your response when you can't turn it on, boo boo? That's all I'm saying.
I'm just saying, it's like, would you like, even if you have a credit card that you don't use, you just use it for emergencies, and then you find out they have a back door on the back of your credit card, you're just gonna let it be there because you don't play it or you don't use it? No, hell no. The biggest thing I have though is I mean, anti-cheat software is not new. By all means, this is something that's been around forever, just as long as the internet's been in gaming, really, at the most part. So, I mean, even the most crudest ones, GameSpy, was one of the biggest ones for a long period of time. But there's one that's currently going. I think it's called BattleEye or whatever. I've never seen anything this aggressive to be to really and call it an anti-cheat program software. And then what's worse is that you still see cheating. You still see cheating happening. Yeah. And it's and then they don't want to fix it. They don't want to fix it. They found out there was exposure of, I mean, what was it, 2 episodes ago that we were talking about it, 2-3 episodes ago that we were talking about it, that it was found that there was issues going on with saying that that it puts into almost virtually admin rights on your PC when you put into it, and still they still have that. It's like, what? Are you crazy? Why would anyone want to put that on their computer? I don't understand that. Just so you can play a mediocre, at best mediocre beta. Look, seriously, I mean, it's mind-boggling on this. And now there's like, okay, that threat of green, that yellow threat is now kind of getting in that borderline area to red. And then your red layer, now the red area is like, this thing could possibly brick your system. It's like you're getting you get the warning of like this thing could shut down executables that allows your computer to work the way it works, and they can shut that stuff down on you, not allowing you to boot up. That when you hear that needs to be removed. That's just what it needs to be. Even that chance of the chance of saying the 20% chance this may or may not happen, that's still way too freaking high. Because like, have you tried reformat? When you reformat a computer, do you want to reformat a computer? Hell no. No one wants to say
nobody wants that.
Lose all that stuff. It's like, who cares if it's stuff that you don't even use at all? It's like, it's still an avoidable task that you always have to do, and it's insane. It's crazy. It's really crazy that they're trying to get away, that they're getting away with that.
I was curious, and I went to look up like what the anti-cheat that they're using for their other games is, and like for like League and stuff, and like because I knew they used to use something else for League back when I played it ages ago, and it's like, I don't think they currently use Vanguard for that, but they're planning to in the future.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And I think they're using Valorant to test it all out. And it's like, if you have these kinds of problems, like, think about how many people play League. Like, that game's still massively popular.
Yeah, Cassandra has a really good point on that. It's like, I don't see a reason to give a company in this day and age the benefit of the doubt that is all innocuous. But yeah, you shouldn't. You shouldn't blindly follow a company, even though they're saying that they're the good guys and stuff. Remember like Google's old quote? Yeah, you remember Google's old quote, like "Don't be evil." You remember that? Like, I mean,
yeah, Google, you remember that?
Yeah. So I mean, like this. I mean, that was one of the things that they went by. So like, I mean, you never want to be a part of that kind of nonsense. With it, don't go full-heartedly all in because the game is so good and stuff. Because you know what, there are certain games that are good, but you know what they're also doing? There's also a back door that those games could also be possibly adding on to what you're doing. So so it has a second agenda, and that's more information and leaks, and it's just annoying, man. Like, it's like, I don't want to wish ill will on any kind of games or gaming itself. And in Valorant, I didn't like, even when Valorant was like getting popular, I was like, okay, it's a new game. But like, with the shady, it just seems so shady. It's just like all the stuff that's coming out about it. It's just like, there's never something good about the game itself. It's the stuff that's around the game that I've always been wondering about.
Well, and I feel like I kind of started this off with commentary from another streamer who was partnered, who was like, I'm stepping away from this. But here's my thing. Okay, so even if they don't mean ill will, you've now left the front door open. You can data mine from someone's PC. You know what I mean? Like, also, do we know that they say they're not data mining, but are they? Because here's the thing, when you agree to download this game, you're giving them permission. Did you read all of those permissions? No. Is there something in the fine print? Who knows? You know what I mean? And it's like, you've now basically given them free reign on your PC, and you don't know what they're going to do. Whether or not you have something important on that PC or not, you use it for a reason, right? And the people that are playing it are our friends who are like top 500 in like Overwatch and other games, who are fantastic players. If they got their PC bricked, that grounds them. But for how long? You know what I mean? And so why, I just don't understand. Like, it's kind of like, I don't know. Like going to a tattoo artist who has not got a certificate. Like, I could get a really great tattoo or a really crappy one. It's a 50-50 shot. Let's go for it. You know what I mean? And maybe get hepatitis at the same time. You don't know. And it's just not worth it. No, it's not your life. But if you use your PC for full-time streaming, that is your life. You know what I mean?
Very much so.
Well, hold on. Sorry, I'm not. Hold on. I gotta. Yeah. Because again, too, you got to remember, this is a free-to-play game, so you know everyone is gonna get this game. And then you're telling me that they're actually, and it just makes sense, Faye, them using this as a test period, and then eventually trying to port it over to league, which has got we know has got one of the biggest communities of video games, and we know these Riot people that that these league heads, they're all about that stuff. So it's kind of scary to think, because dude, I will never be fooled by a company telling me, oh, we're not gonna, like, look at a telecoms company, they did it, cell phone companies did it. That's why there is that net neutrality and stuff like that, because it's a way to prevent, oh no, don't worry, trust us, we're not going to do this thing. You guys have already done this before. You're telling me you're not going to do it again? Get out of my face. The only reason you say that is because there was rules and regulations that were put in place to prevent companies from being able to do stuff like this. This is what this looks like to me. I can't touch this until there's changes made with it. And even still, like you said, this is an average game to me. The only reason I'd play would be to play with friends and to hang out with them. That would be the only reason why. Right now, it's not worth it.
And, Kitty Cat Cosplay was like saying, even though I'm currently not understanding this Valorant game, I'm going to remain quiet. It's like, it's funny because it's not really about the game itself. It's not the like, if you've noticed, this is the third time we brought up Valorant in like less than 5 podcasts. And this, like, it's not about the game. We've pretty much had our consensus of saying the game is mediocre, and it's a beta. It's a beta right now. It's fine. We're not even caring about the gameplay or anything about it. It's just that it's the aggressiveness on the install is the biggest problem, and the anti-cheat software that they have when you install the game is the biggest issue. It's like we would never tell like someone to be like, hey, if Final Fantasy 7 remake comes out, and then they're like saying, hey, you gotta play Final Fantasy 7 remake, but at the same time they're saying, hey, yeah, this is it's asking for your credit card information, and it says that you have to put it in, and it says it may they're not going to charge, they're promising you that they're not going to charge anything. Like, we won't tell you to get the game because of that, because who knows, you could just, it's basically just saying, oh, here's our information, let's just give it out and see what's going to happen. It's like, this is exactly what this is. It's like, it's basically forcing a backdoor to your main PC, and then it's exposing you to God knows what. And that's where we are having a big issue with it. And then what's worse is that they're not doing anything about it. From the most part, it's like they're not doing anything about it. They're working about other hot fixes and stuff. It's like Vanguard needs to be fixed, is where the problem is, where one of the biggest issues are. Because like we're probably, you know what, Smitty, Smitty and Lex, we're probably going to be like a couple of months away till we hear something insane that's going to happen.
Right.
It's going to be like, oh, because Vanguard did this, they basically just having some issues that we have to shut something down. Like, no, because it's because of y'all's crappy anti-cheat software that's not even doing its freaking job. So
Kitty, to put it in like layman's terms, when you download the game, in the install there is another program that is for anti-cheat. Well, usually how that works is when you pull up the game, then the anti-cheat program is embedded and it opens up as well. Not with this one. This one is on the moment you turn your computer on. The game's not on, but the anti-cheat program is on. And if anyone knows anything about computers, he keeps saying backdoor. Essentially, it's a front door, and they can get in and get any information from your computer that they want. But then there comes other issues with that. So they're not necessarily addressing the program itself. They're just doing little fixes like, oh, now you can see it when you do the Control-Alt-Delete inside running. And now you can close it, I guess, if you want to. But does that even really work? But Kitty, what it's doing is, after a while, people can't even turn their computers on because this program is embedded. And when we say it bricks your computer, means that it doesn't work anymore.
It doesn't turn on, or it doesn't post.
Correct. Like you hear the power supply boot up, but nothing comes up. So you're having to reformat hard drives to get your PC back to where it was when you got it out of a box.
Or if you're lucky enough to be able to rewind it to a certain point in time before that. I mean, who knows who does that a lot?
Or even like an easier example, Kitty, if I gave you this vape with the batteries inside and told you you could smoke this and the batteries may or may not explode. That's the equivalent, kind of. You basically put a bomb in your PC.
Yeah,
is how that works. It's so stupid.
I just
That's
Yeah.
nice.
remembered like another thing, like I guess regarding to privacy I had to deal with a few months ago. They like for work they made an app for like our schedules and stuff, so you can see your schedules, you can see other people's schedules, change shifts, request time off, all that stuff. But in order to download that app, you had to download this other app first that wanted control of literally everything in your phone. It
Ew.
wanted
Oh
to
yeah.
access to your images. It wanted to be able to make calls and texts on your behalf, all that stuff. And I was like, I'm noping back out of
Nope.
this.
Somebody
Yeah.
Microphone
wants to.
access to a microphone.
Sounds
Like
like
it
you
was,
want a secure phone. That's what it sounds like.
yeah, I was like, absolutely not. And so I got rid of it and just,
Yeah.
you can do all that same stuff by just going to the web link version of the app and it works just
Sounds-
as fine, but without all that like privacy stuff.
That's weird. I mean, usually you would think it would be like upper management, but anyways, we're digressing. But anyways, hey, Smitty, what are you planning on? Any plans this week for you? On
Yeah,
the
I'm
stream?
Yeah, so I'm totally and we'll see if we get it in. I had planned on trying out this new game tomorrow. There was a sponsorship opportunity, but it's basically this game that takes different genres and mashes them together. You basically it's a game that creates games,
Oh, I'll talk
essentially.
about
Heard of
this.
Yeah, I
this.
think we talked about this a little bit, dude. So like I got an opportunity from noise.gg, check it out. And I'm gonna be trying that out. So I'm gonna see if I can take some time and just do like probably like a shorter stream sometime during the day tomorrow. We'll see what how things play out and whatnot. But I'll be there, and then I'm doing a collab with both Hammy, Hambino TV, and Miss Van 93 sometime this week on Mishmash. So that's gonna be dope. And then obviously Overwatch on Fridays, y'all.
Woo woo.
Oh, nice, nice, very nice. What about you, Lex? What do you have planned this week?
Well, thank you for asking. After this, Adam promised me he would play Overwatch comp with me. But Monday is my birthday, so if you guys are around, come celebrate, I guess. I don't know. Someone said I have to put a goal up and pie myself. We'll see. I didn't. I didn't want to celebrate it. I'm an old fogey. It's
Are you
fine.
gonna be doing like a different thing for your birthday night, or are you gonna do your usual Monday?
No, it's gonna be different. We're gonna do. I think I'm gonna buy Jackbox so that we can
Nice.
play. Yeah. Um. So we'll do that or something. Yeah, I'm gonna be 53. Good job. See, you knew. It's all the Botox. Thank you. And then of course, Boopa Tuesday. We've been having special guests on Tuesdays, so highly recommend. But yeah, other than that, just kind of figuring TikTok out, I guess, because I was told I should. I don't know. But yeah, birthday, Monday, community games, and then through the week, yeah, just basic. Oh, on Wednesdays, we're gonna start a new thing because my arthritis has been bugging me after Tuesdays. On Wednesdays, I think we're gonna do watch nights, and so on stream we'll watch stuff together, like movies or shows or
Full
something.
full Amazon movie list is available now, which is
It
awesome.
is.
Nice.
Yeah. So I
Yep.
think Wednesdays we're gonna do that. Because some of you guys want to hear my commentary on stuff because you think I'm funny and I appreciate that. And then of course Thursdays we play Overwatch, and Fridays I don't stream because I usually mod for somebody, Smitty, and I play Overwatch with him. So yeah, that's my week. You're welcome. What are you up to, Davies? What are you
Yeah.
up-
Right.
Yeah. Tell me.
Tomorrow, well, let's see, what am I doing tomorrow? Oh yeah, tomorrow I'm going to be doing well, I'm going to still continue on. I need to finish up Trials of Mana. I'm almost done with it. So like we're going to be doing the streams. I was going to try to do it tonight. I don't know. I might take a nap before I do. Do a late night. And then after that, we're just going tomorrow. We got something with a developer with the game Moving Out. So we're going to be streaming. We're going to be streaming on our channel tomorrow afternoon with my friends Brian and Amber. It's going to be on our channel CFG Games.
Nice.
And then in the weekdays, I don't have anything set scheduled yet, but I know on Friday we're going to be I'm going to probably play some more One Piece. I want to do an anime day. One day I'm just going to do an anime gaming day. I like because it seems like
Are
I've
you
been
gonna
kind of doing it every
cosplay for
week.
it?
Never. I
Mondays.
will
Do
never do that.
it. Yeah, put a cute
You
little
I will
should.
hoodie on
never
or
do it.
something with the ears.
Absolutely not.
Still.
Yes. So So yeah, but no, yeah. So we're gonna do One Piece on Fridays, and then but mostly we're gonna try to finish up Trials of Mana this week. So definitely stay tuned for that. Well, so like, but always, but definitely check us all out. If you can, do a shout outs on the on our channels. Faye, if you can do a shout outs on our channels there in the chat. Yeah, so I guess this is it. This is episode number 47 of the CFG Gamecast. Thank you for watching. You can always check us out on any of our podcast services, Google Podcasts, Stitcher Radio, Podbean, Apple Podcasts. Definitely give us a like or a follow, comment on any of those podcast services. That actually goes a very long way for us. And or if you just like to be a part of the conversation, you can always check us out on Twitch on CFG Gamecast. Follow us there. But other than that, this is Davis, Smitty, and I was gonna say Faye, but Faye and Lex signing off. Y'all take it easy.